One of the biggest debates or disagreements I saw on Black Clover Twitter this week was a versus battle thread. Who would win in a battle? Current's Leopold Vermilion or his sister Marileona Vermilion from the pre-time skip? And of course, this might seem silly. Leopold is the little brother. He's just a growing magic knight. Meanwhile, Marileona has often been portrayed to be a badass and even acted as a brigade captain for the Crimson Lion Kings, even other captains being scared of her power. Leopold, in the pre-time skip, struggled with an elven vice captain, and while he did improve over the time skip and able to defeat a 50% Dark Disciple in one-on-one combat, has he really surpassed the might of even just a pre-time skip Marileona, the lioness who fought 5 elves at once and put up a fight, also straight up defeating an elven apostle in Veto in a one-on-one battle of beasts? So surely, no matter the amount of training that Leopold had done in 6 months, even learning runes, arrays, and true magic, he would not be strong enough to defeat his sister, right? Well, actually, no. The point of this video is to display to you the insane power gap that was formed from this 6-month time skip. If you compare a character from the post-time skip to a pre-time skip character, it is often that the post-time skip character would win, often easily, or even force a much closer battle than you may think. I need to explain to you not just why Leopold defeats Marileona, but why he utterly destroys her in a battle. It wouldn't even be close. You may think that the Dark Disciples are weak. They haven't been close to a focus in the series for over a year our time. But even just the 40% Dark Disciples would defeat over 99% of pre-time skip characters. Even strong characters like Yami or other captains from the pre-time skip would falter to the Dark Disciples. Even elven apostles would perish beneath the brawn of Gadaroy. So join me in my explanation of the insane power progression provided by Black Clover's 6-month time skip. Now, I will probably do a different video on this topic and give more of a critique. Is this good for Black Clover, or could the power progression have been softened to be more palpable? That is something that I'll probably do in a different video, but this is just talking about the actual power progression. Speaking of power, the power of NordVPN and the potential what their service can do for you is absolutely groundbreaking. NordVPN is easy to use as you can connect with a single click or enable auto-connect for a zero-click protection. NordVPN is used to both protect you online, protect your valuable information, as well as using it to go on over 5,200 servers in 60 different countries. You can virtually travel to other kingdoms and access content that is exclusive to them. This lovely service must be paired with a light magic spell, as it has been confirmed through testing that NordVPN is the fastest VPN on the market. You can run NordVPN on 6 of your devices with either Android, iOS, macOS, and Linux, with rumors that NordVPN will eventually extend their protection to our sacred grimoires as well. Check the pinned comment or link in the description, or go to nordvpn.com/broku, and don't forget to check out with code BROKU. My code will give you an insanely good deal. Now, before going into the details of Leopold versus Marileona, or the power of the Dark Disciples, I want to remind you guys that the Spade Kingdom was foreshadowed for the longest time to be the strongest kingdom on the continent. As in the guidebook, we got descriptions of each kingdom, and the Spade was mentioned as to be the military power of the continent. They are also the largest territory, and what this should imply is that since they are the only ones described as a military power, they would likely be the strongest military. Now, despite the age of this guidebook, it would be revealed that the power of the Spade Kingdom military was far bigger than that of the Clover Kingdom. This is thanks to them believing that the ends justify the means, and will do anything for power, even making deals with dastardly devils. We also get the new introduction of the Heart Kingdom before this new time skip, and get a whole new level of power displayed. If we're going to talk about pre-time skip characters in Black Clover, and the top tier, then this would include characters like Zagred the Word Devil, the first Wizard King Lumiere, the Elf Chieftain Licht and his Apostles of Sephiroth, as well as the Clover Captains. A few non-captain humans stand out as well, like Asta, Noel, and Uno, as part of this high tier, and then non-apostles like Sharla and Ratri, Elven Longris. So those are a lot of the top or high tier characters in the pre-time skip. Now we can take one of these high tier characters, Noel, Wildhunter Valkyrie Armor, and use her as a template of power. We see her fight a tough warrior in a foreign kingdom in Gaja. Noel is arguably stronger at this point in chapter 225, as this is some time passing since the defeat of Zagred, and we know that Noel trains. Despite this, Noel struggles against Gaja, and she needs the help of support mages Finro and Mimosa, as to which they do put up a mighty display against the Lightning Guardian, only to find out that he is no threat, nor was he trying his best. He was just simply testing the power of the Clover visitors. He would notify that Noel in her Valkyrie form is stage 1, and it would be revealed that Gaja along with the other spirit guardians are stage 0. Keep in mind the stage system because it is very important for setting up the power of the time skip, as it is the new ranking system that determines the overall combat power of a mage. We can actually get a good gauge of what stage 1 means from the anime canon, where it was stated that they needed to be stronger than their senior knight first class to be in this fight, stronger than vice captains. Mind you, the goal was getting everybody to stage 1 at the very least. Now, senior first class is the same official rank as vice captain. I mean, this is also just affirmed by the statements itself from this scene. So what this means is that stage 1 surpasses vice captain level, and that would mean that it's captain level. Now, we've been given that Noel is stage 1. Does her Valkyrie armor support this fact that stage 1 is captain level? Well, yes, it does actually. See, in the Elf arc, Noel fights Elven Apostle Fauna. Fauna is stated to have more magic power than a captain, and yet Noel clearly outclasses her in speed and power. The only thing not allowing her the victory was Fauna's Hack's regeneration magic. So with these important pieces of information, we can confidently say that stage 1 equals captain level at the time of the Elf arc. Now I will clarify that this doesn't mean that all captains are stage 1, but it would be the baseline for what a captain needs to be. Top captains like Yami or Nozel could possibly be stage 0, but there's no evidence to directly state that. But this very stage system is what can concretely display the massive power increase for even minor characters during the time skip, like say, the Spade Captain that Asta defeats effortlessly, who is looked at as fodder by the fandom. Now people will just downplay this character because he does not look strong, and he was easily bested in battle, but we need to remember that he is a captain of a military that was noted to be stronger than the Clover military because it's the military power of the continent, and his only display of power shows that he is stage 0. My spell is top stage, and you're no match for it. Top stage would mean the top stage, the highest in the stage system, which is stage 0. What this means is that the Spade Captain is actually stronger than Elf Arc Captain level, since he sits in the stage 0 tier. Now people will try and question that this makes no sort of sense that this fodder character is stage 0, but it actually does make a lot of sense. The Spade Kingdom, like I said, is the military power of the continent, and they use devil power as well. The Spade Captain has been given 5% devil power. So remember, this is a captain of a strong military that's been given 5% devil power. So the fact that the Spade Kingdom has the strongest military, that their captain should be comparable to captains of the Clover and the pre-time skip. And then with boosted power from a devil, it makes sense for them to be stronger, for them to be stage 0. Now you might not like this statement, but it is fact. This captain produces a stage 0 spell, which puts him above stage 1 Valkyrie Armor Noel. Now, you might not like it. What it means is that if this Spade Captain would have been a villain in the Elf Arc, he would have been a very serious threat. He wouldn't have just been some funny-looking baldy for us to show off his newfound power against. He would have been a terror to fight. But let's press further. The Dark Disciples. Unlike the Captain, they can take in 40% as much devil power, making characters like Gadaroy and Foil at least 8 times as strong as this Captain. Now I would like to be much higher than 8 times, since people with the stronger base power will be able to contain more devil power. But even then, I already just proved to you that this Spade Captain would be a great threat in the Elf Arc. Now imagine Gadaroy and Foil, each 8 times stronger than the great threat. They would have absolutely wreaked havoc. Many of the apostles would have faltered to their power. They could have even given lesser versions of Zagred a run for their money, like say Zagred before he attained his grimoire. Now you can say that the scaling from the stage system is bonkers, but it is directly supported by Gadaroy's own feats. Gadaroy wasn't even using his full power, and he was tossing around a Spear Dive 1 Monozone Uno like he was nothing, tanking a Spirit Storm and such. Gadaroy only activated his full power when he would lose to the might of a Spear Dive 2 Zephyr Uno. As I have proved in a different video, this is a Uno that is at least an equal power to the Elven Uno from the time skip, as Bell is the same size. We know that Uno and Bell grow with each other, so if Bell is the same size as she was with Elven Uno, then he would be at least as strong as that. Remember what Elven Uno did to characters like Zagred. Gadaroy is fighting this character while suppressed, because, like I said, Bell grew from the mana of the Elven Amp, and now after the time skip is the same size. Characters like Foil are also often downplayed because he lost to Klaus and Lee, who are apparently weaker than their Elven counterparts, but people also fail to remember that Foil was nerfed by another Atlas, and Klaus landed the shot on the nerfed Foil. It wasn't just Klaus one-shotting Foil, it was a nerfed Foil. Now people say that because these characters, Klaus and Lee, are weaker than the Elves, that makes the Dark Disciples weaker than the Elves. But no, this makes no sense whatsoever. Remember, this is a team-up for 1, which negates that fact already, as it's a nerfed Dark Disciple. But even then, the actual chapter displays the reasoning for Klaus's strength. It's given to us by the fact that he trains physically, which means he can essentially grow at an increased rate because he's training two factors at once. He trains his magic, he trains his physical strength. We know that people who do this grow way faster in Black Clover, as they're usually some of the strongest characters. Asta, of course he's really strong, Yami, Mereoleona, Veto, and Ladros as well. Remember, it wasn't just Klaus's steel magic that ended Foil, it was a punch from Klaus's forged muscles as well. So this does not hold weight. Then there's the 50% Dark Disciples, which yes, they are confirmed to be stronger than 40% Dark Disciples, despite the arguments you may see. And this is where we get someone like Svenken, who would be a formidable foe for the likes of even a full power Zogren. Now I wouldn't say that he would win, but he would be right up there with everyone else in a group battle against him. And Savoir, he is a 50% Dark Disciple, and Leopold not only just defeats him, but is even able to overpower an exploding life version of him that dramatically amped him. Remember what I said, the Spade Captain is stronger than the likes of Elfana and Apostle. Savoir has at least 10 times as much devil power as the Captain, making him at least 10 times stronger. Then he gets an untold level of power on top of that with exploding life, and Leopold negs that self-destruction. Now when we look back at Mereoleona, we remember she fought 5 elves at once, and she kinda got bodied. She held her own for a bit, but she did get destroyed in that fight. Though she did defeat Elfeto in a 1v1 combat, it was a tough fight for Mereoleona. They were pretty comparable. As you see here, Veto essentially tanks her attack. They essentially counter their attacks over and over again in this panel here, but Mario, being a smarter fighter, outsmarted him and used a double power spell to knock out Veto, as what she did is she put all of her mana into this attack to let herself tank the attack from Veto so that she can then double an attack at him because she needed him to be close because he was too fast otherwise. And seeing as Fauna should have been comparable to Veto, both members of the Third Eye and Apostles, well, could Mario defeat someone who was well over 10 times stronger than she already struggled with? No, she couldn't. So, to make a long story short, yes, current Leopold, even without his ultimate magic that we have not seen yet, would defeat pre-time skip Mereoleona. The power gap has just grown way too big. Now naysayers will say the disciples are weak because they only defeated weak Spirit Guardians, but remember that the Spirit Guardians are indeed stage 0, even before training with the Clover Kingdom. If you watch the anime canon, you will see that the Clover Squad is severely impressed with the power of the Spirit Guardians. Even Charlotte, a captain with an elven boost, is impressed with the so-called weak Spirit Guardian. Also, there's just many other pieces of evidence that prove the Dark Disciples are strong. Don't forget Halibet's performance against hybrid state Charmy. This Charmy is far stronger than the one that clobbered Elven Apostle Lyra. But Charmy actually struggles against Halibet, needing several arrays to create true food magic to take the win against the Disciple, proving a clear power gap between the Apostles and the Disciple. Now the power gap only swells from here, as base Vonica one-shots a 50% Dark Disciple without difficulty. Not with a spell, but with a meager kick. And the power of the Triad only swell from here. But I just wanted to explain to you guys that there is huge rift in power scaling for Black Clover that builds up after the time skip. So when you take these versus battles, even a Leopold versus Mereoleona from the past, just remember how far these characters have come. Even the paragons of power of old may not hold up to these new youths who've hoarded themselves from intense training and battles. This is why I think that it's often not very good battles if you take post-time skip characters versus pre-time skip characters, because very oftentimes, not only will the post-time skip win, even when you may think that the character is not very strong, but it will often be a slaughter, as Leopold would easily defeat a pre-time skip Mereoleona. That being said, let me know your thoughts down below. Leave a like if you did enjoy, comment, and subscribe. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. Plus...